Hey there. Being an immigrant founder is not easy. Being an immigrant is not easy, period. When I moved from India to the US about 5 or 6 years ago, it feels like a lifetime. Everything was new to me. It was a huge culture shock. The language, the culture, the pop references, everything was new. The way that people interacted, social nuances, everything. And it took a while to understand all these aspects of it. Even regular processes like getting a driver's license, even stuff like that is very different from what happens in India, and it's very important to understand as well. Especially being the fact that being an immigrant entrepreneur, founder, your primary job is to build a network, is to build a set of people around you, surround yourself with people who root for you and who wish you success. Here are some of the things that has worked for me in terms of building a strong network, and some things that could be super valuable for other immigrant founders who wish to come to the country, come to the US, perhaps one of the greatest countries on the planet, to grow, to pursue your entrepreneurial journey and build something worthwhile. The first thing that I've seen that has worked the most for me is attending networking events, in person, face to face meeting with people. Thanks to the pandemic, it has become a norm to connect with people over Zoom, and it has worked considerably well for me as well, considering the fact that I've raised a majority of my funds by meeting with people virtually and never having met them physically. Even the same goes with my customers as well. But I've always understood, and it's a pretty well known fact as well, that meeting people face to face has no substitute for it. I am a introvert. I would prefer not to go out, put myself out there, spend time, dress up, go to events, talk to people, chat, and make connections. It is a lot of work for me. It does not come naturally to me, and my social battery drains quite fast. But as a founder, I've realized that it is very important to push yourself and build that connections. You may meet 10,000 people, and out of which only one or two may actually help you out in furthering your entrepreneurial venture, but it is very important to go out as well. The easiest way is to join networking events, associations, alumni events, and so on. Since I went to Babson College, the Babson Alumni Network was really, really valuable for me in terms of connecting to me, giving me advice, and giving me the support that I need, regardless of the fact that I was new to this country and I was building connections all on my own. So attending these events was very helpful. When I was at Boston, I was part of a small business chamber called Newton Needham Chamber of Commerce, and I made it a point to attend as many of their meetups, coffee meets, and events as possible. And I did make some very, very valuable connections at that point. So it's very important to put yourself out there. The second thing is, like I mentioned earlier, the advent of pandemic has made it a norm to connect people online. Having a social presence that may come in the form of interacting with other people on platforms like LinkedIn, putting out thought pieces, putting out videos like I am doing right now, does help to make yourself into an authentic individual in front of people, because thanks to LLMs and ChatGPT, a lot of the content, especially the text content that is being put out on LinkedIn and probably other social media platforms as well, is AI generated, and very apparently so. So it's important to look into a camera and speak from your heart, from your mind, to connect that, build that connection as well. And the same goes with one-on-one direct messages that you would eventually do with people as well. The cold emails, cold outreach still work if you target correctly, or if you reach out with a message that really resonates. That may be with potential investors or potential customers or potential advisors. It's very important to have that online presence as well, because you would realize that you would leave a mark in the online presence, and which would continue, which would have the potential to compound over time as well. Third one is seeking out mentorship and advisory relationships. I've seen that since when I was a Babson student and I knew nobody, I typically reached out to Babson alum, saying that, explaining to them in one or two sentences what I was up to, what I was working towards, and how connecting with them and seeking their mentorship could be super helpful for me. Now, as a student, there could have been a thought that, hey, these are very busy people, these are very important people. Why on earth would they respond to someone like me? Why on earth would they take time out of their life to spend with me? But I've seen that more often than not, people are willing to do that. People are willing to help out in general, give advice, and in some cases give make connections to the right people who may help you out as well. And that has happened with some very high profile individuals who have emailed, who have responded to me, and also people who work in corporate, and people who on the offset may not be that, or may not seem very helpful, but I've seen that a lot of people are willing to go above and beyond in helping you out. And so crafting your message, putting yourself out there, making yourself vulnerable to the world, and not being hesitant to seek advice in the right way, giving people the due respect that they deserve, and being humble or being coachable, I think is a very good trait to have, especially when you are seeking out mentorship. The last and final aspect of building a network I've seen work is being a part of a voluntary or non-profit venture, or a non-profit community where you are involved in some kind of non-profit work. So I have been a part of many. For example, I have built houses as part of a house building community for the economically backward community. I have been part of food drives, I've been part of clothing drives, I have fundraised for nonprofits, I have given my time and expertise to help nonprofits grow, thrive, get additional revenue, and so on. I'm part of Louisville Orchestra, which is a nonprofit helping local artists thrive. And I do this not to get anything in return. I do this because, one, I genuinely want to help people, and secondly, I have observed that other people who also wish to help people are great people to know yourself, are great people to build connections and network, and typically those people have achieved a considerable amount in their lives, and they are not hesitant in helping those in need. So when I am part of these nonprofits, when I'm part of taking my time to help people in whatever way I can, it has been extremely fulfilling to me. It has also helped me build a very robust network that has helped me grow my startup. Just one example is that of a mentor helping me out is that my COO right now, Dan Rosignol, I connected to him, I believe, through one of our mutual connections. I always thought of him as a mentor at that point, and he we kept in touch for years. He helped me out. We touched base every so often, and eventually he realized that he wanted to be more involved in my startup Xena, and has come on board as a COO. This is just an example of how connections led to more connections, led to people who rooted for you, led to people who joined you and have invested a lot more than money in your success. So this is just an example, I feel, where a lot of people miss out on in the hustle and bustle culture that is often portrayed on social media, where everything is either kind of a sermon, or kind of unsolicited advice that people give. But what they miss out on most is that it's very important to make yourself likable. It's very important to make yourself coachable, and putting yourself out there in a vulnerable way, so that people have the need, or feel the desire to help you, and eventually you be in a position where, regardless of what you have achieved or what you're not achieved, you should always strive towards helping other people as well. And that aspect of kindness, that aspect of helping people out, will go a long way for especially immigrant entrepreneurs with no network, to build something valuable, to build something sustainable, and to build something that will make them not just a great entrepreneur, but also a great human being.